Hi, I'm Dave with Phototropics, and today we're going to talk about another aspect of the exposure triangle, specifically shutter speed. Now, the funny thing about shutter speed is when you hear that term, you think of something fast, and normally they are very fast, sometimes parts of a second, 1/100th of a second, 1/1600th of a second, those things like that. But there's also aspects of the shutter speed of the exposure triangle that go the other way. In some cases, it's been hours, of exposure to film, especially with those beautiful night shots of the stars in Joshua Tree, things like that. But the main purpose to me of a shutter speed adjustment is to stop action or to show action. If you have like a race car, if you notice the thumbnail on this video, it shows a car and it's completely stopped. It stops not just the car but the dust that is kicking up. Now, do you want to show speed? Well, you can also do that by, they could have slowed the shutter speed just a bit and had a little bit of blur, and then that might evoke the idea of being quick and showing just how fast. It's so fast, camera can't even catch it. So there's one way that you can use a shutter speed to enhance your picture, and shutter speed will also dictate basically how long light hits your sensor, or back in the old days, how long the light will hit your film. Now, there's another consideration you have to have for if you're hand holding a camera. You don't want to introduce any shake. You can see shake normally when the whole picture is blurry. A slow shutter speed, you won't have everything blurry. You might have something in focus, but everything else is blurry, which shows that your shutter speed is off. But if everything's blurry, then you've got camera shake. One way to reduce that is to have your shutter speed at 1 over whatever your lens is. If you have a 200mm lens, you want to have 1/200th of a second, and that will reduce the amount of shake or any shake that you might present unintentionally. And that's another thing about breathing and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you don't introduce shake that way. Now, on the other end, to get those long streaks, you've seen people paint with lights and things that are awesome, and that is the slow shutter speeds. And for that, you especially want to have a tripod so that there is no shake that's introduced in that way if you're going to have your shutter open for a long time. Again, that can be accomplished not just with the TV setting on Canons, but there's also the bulb setting or B setting. Back in the day, whenever they could, activate the shutter with just a little pump bulb. Now you do that with an electronic shutter control, and you could set it for an hour or 2 hours. I have a night shot of one of the SpaceX rockets going off, and it was about 30 seconds, and I was able to use my phone to control my camera, and I just held it, and then whenever it was done, I hit the button again and it closed the shutter, and I got exactly what I wanted. So use your shutter speed, develop that ability to stop motion and stop the shake, stop shaking, get off the DTs, and be able to create the picture and the image that will, show who you are as a photographer and show your customers what they might be missing if they don't hire you. Again, if you have any comments, concerns, or personal beliefs, put them in the comment section down below. Thanks.